Hey guys! Now that sounds so crazy. Hey lovers, welcome back to my channel. Sound like a Gen Z. Okay, episode 4 of The Bachelor came on. Let's talk about boats and hoes. Boats and hoes. How did that song go? The boats and hoes song? Anyways, okay, so there were boats. There weren't really hoes, but anyway, find out which one of those girls from the boat went packing and who else got sent home. I really don't even remember if anyone else got sent home, but I do remember everything else. So stick around because I'm going to give you guys the recap you've all been waiting for.
Hello, stranger. It's been a minute since we last kicked it. And by the way, just got in town.
Okay guys, so episode 4 of The Bachelor premiered last night, and it started off so dramatic, which seems to be the trend this season. It started off showing Maria and Sydney on a boat, awkwardly silent. Okay, and we know why. From the past weeks, we know that they are not feeling each other, and Joey is clearly trying to get to the bottom of it. The ladies in the house are talking about how much space this drama is taking up, and I agree. Most of the house seems to be Team Maria, or I don't even know if they're really Team Maria. They're just team over it. And since Sydney is the one who keeps bringing up the drama, it seems as though they're Team Maria. Everyone, of course, is hoping they can move forward. And as they're moving forward, they were headed to Malta, which I've never heard of Malta prior to this episode, but it looked so beautiful. Here's some pictures from Malta. Okay, so first up, Lexi got the first one-on-one. And according to Bachelor Nation historians, people who get a one-on-one on episode 4 never make it to be the final person to win. I mean, I say win loosely because this isn't like a game, but yeah, those people who get the one-on-one for episode 4 never are chosen in the end. So we're going to see if that is true. But yeah, basically Joey's date with Lexi, they really just toured the city. I didn't really see anything special or anything that stood out. Of course, when you're traveling, that's special, but nothing really stood out. And they tend to do that whenever it's the first date in a new city. So that was that. He did say he feels like he was walking around Malta with his girlfriend. And I'm like, Joey, you said that with Daisy too. But I guess at the end of the day, it's very important for him to feel such a connection with the woman that he does choose. So, hey, shout out to Joey and all his girlfriends, okay? Back at the house, Sydney is talking about Maria occupying her brain. And back at the house, of course, Sydney is talking about how Maria is occupying her brain and she's going to make sure Joey knows about it. I'm not going to spend too much time on them because I know they do have a 2-on-1 coming up later. So I will dig a little deeper at that time. So back to the date with Joey and Lexi. Lexi did say she has something she wants to talk to Joey about. And I feel like when they're casting for this show, they're like, okay, now tell me what your drama is or trauma is. And even though they're normally really serious things, it seems like that's something that is a requirement when they're picking these women. So I find that to be interesting. But anyway, she says she has something she wants to talk to Joey about, but she didn't want to ruin the vibe of the date, so she would wait till a little later. At the nightcap, she did let Joey know. Now we're a little later. She did let Joey know that she was diagnosed with stage 5 endometriosis, which can cause some issues when it comes to her reproductive system, which means she may have an issue having kids. She also let Joey know that she only opened up to one person about it, which was her ex-boyfriend, and he ended up breaking things off with her because he couldn't see himself being with someone who may not be able to have kids. So I could understand why she was nervous about explaining that to Joey. Joey, being the stand-up guy that he is, let her know that that does not scare him and that there's so many other ways to start a family, like adoption and whatever the other ways are. But the point is, he was super like, girl, fine, I'm here for you. If you're my person, then you're my person, and we're not gonna let those type of things stop us. So shout out to Joey. He's just such a great guy. At the end of their day, of course, she got the rose. No surprise there. Next up was the group date, and it was on the date card, it said true love is worth fighting for. So I'm like, okay, are we about to do another mud fight or boxing? I don't really like when they be having the girls fighting. Like when the guys are fighting, it's fine. But every season, it seems to be some sort of physical aggressional date. And I'd be like, So I thought that's where they were headed. Turns out they went to Fort Manuel, which is a place where one of the Stark people got killed or beheaded on the Game of Thrones. And yeah, they were trying to be knights or something. Here's some pictures for reference. And they did end up doing some like different challenges, grab each other's sashes, staring into each other's eyes, and one of the girls ended up kissing him. And I'm like, girl, this is not a part of the challenge, but hey, she had to figure out how to stand out. Daisy followed suit and kissed him as well. And lastly, the challenge they did was to catch sausages in their mouths, like catch sausages by using their mouths only. So here's a picture. They told Joey he didn't have to do it, but he's like, no, I'm not going to have my girl do something I won't do, which shout out to you, Joey. I'm glad you are having a fun time with the ladies. The knights who were over the day ended up choosing Autumn as the winner to spend more time with him. Based on a previous episode, I thought that meant she would be the only one that spend time with him for the remainder of the night. But I was wrong. It turned out all the women still were able to spend more time with him, but I guess they meant just in that setting. And during the nightcap of the group date, him and Daisy were able to talk about potential baby names. Him and Kelsey A did more kissing, and him and Kelsey T said, wait a minute, I don't feel our relationship is progressing as fast as all the other women. So she made sure to pull him for a chat, and she was able to talk to him, ask him what it is that he needed. And she seems nurturing, which Joey, he did say that something about her makes him have flutters when he talks to her, and they express how they have a great connection. Jess let him know that she felt an instant connection with him, and she can see herself falling for him. All in all, Kelsey T is the one who walked away with the group date rose. Next, but certainly not least, the 2-on-1 date we have all been waiting for, and we've been waiting for it because we are tired of the drama. At least I am. Sydney and Maria were on the 2-on-1 date, and their group date card said, meet me on the water. Sydney was saying how Maria isn't suitable to be his wife, and spending the day with her is torture and like spending time with the devil. And I'm like, girl, like, you really feel that strongly. I don't know if more was going on in the house that we didn't get a chance to see, but for her to feel all that negativity against Maria, I just felt like was over the top. Okay. Joey was talking about he doesn't know which two of these women to really believe. And I personally feel like if you're not sure who to believe, why not ask the women in the house? But for some reason, they never seem to do that. Ultimately, he ended up talking to Sydney first, and Sydney let him know that she went into the week scared. After last week's pool party, she claims Maria went off on Leia. And so Joey was like, wait, let me talk to Maria. And Maria denied it, was like, absolutely not. They did not show that on last week's episode from what I remember. So I don't think that happened, because I do feel like unless they're trying to make Maria look super innocent, they would have shown that, because that type of drama would be good for TV. Joey expressed how he was confused now more than he was before the date even started. So ultimately, he decided to choose who he has the stronger connection with out of the two women. He asked both of them if they see potential in a future with him. They both, in short, answered yes. And he ended up sending Sydney home, walking her out, and choosing Maria. No surprise there. At that point, I was super relieved that I would not have to hear about this Sydney and Maria drama anymore, but I was wrong, and I'll tell you guys about that in just a second. At the cocktail party, the ladies were shocked. Joey was expressing to them why he sent Sydney home, but he didn't spend too much time on that. The ladies, especially Leia, felt a type of way about Sydney being sent home, but in between that whole mix, Jen was able to pull some time to have a chat with him, and she just said, you know, how much she's enjoying their connection. He said Jen is super intentional with the conversations that they have. So I'm mentioning her because she wasn't really a big part of this episode, but I think I'm starting to like her more. So I just wanted to make sure I mentioned her so she didn't just pop up out of nowhere when, you know, she makes it far. Most of the women, though, were just saying how he makes them feel safe, grounded, and he has a lot of values in what they look for in a husband. Medina, she opened up to him. She basically let him know that when she was in high school, her parents had some sort of issue that caused her to have trust issues and issues with opening up and being vulnerable. And so she's trying to work on being more vulnerable with him. Speaking of Medina, Leia felt away. Now, y'all know Leia was in my top 2 on episode 1, but someone is saying Leia took the villain torch from Sydney, and I'm kind of like, y'all may be right. And I'm never, not that I'm like anti-Leia on this episode, but I wasn't feeling what she did next. Basically, she called Medina out and was like, how are you being all nice and buddy with Maria, and you're claiming that Sydney was your best friend in the house? And it's like, y'all don't really know each other for real. Like, who cares if they were close in the house? They probably, I mean, no, you know what? They will probably stay connected after the house, because Bachelor Nation normally does continue their friendships after the show. But it's just like, it's not that deep. Like, Medina is trying to be in this house without drama, and no one was really tripping off of Maria from what I've seen. So, Leia, I did not like how you were calling Medina out with that. Like, that seemed a little high school, and I was not a fan of that. Of course, I got back to Maria because Maria then went to check on Medina to make sure she was okay after she spoke with Leia, and Medina explained to Maria, oh my gosh, these M's, how, you know, she just feels like she's damned if she does, damned if she doesn't, because it's like, okay, if I say something, y'all mad. If I don't say something, you know, it's just like that type of drama nobody has time for. And I do feel bad for Maria because it just seems like no matter what, she's getting pulled into the mix. So, with needless to say, Leia this week was not in my top 2 anymore. We'll see if she can redeem herself next week. Maria, though, she does feel really upset about all the drama, and it seems like she may be saying she's going to go home. We'll have to stick around. A new episode is actually coming on tonight. So last night's episode, no one got sent home except for Sydney. And tonight we'll find out if anyone else gets sent home at the rose ceremony. So you guys stick around. Another episode recap will be coming very, very soon.